Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Frost and Fire. To recap last episode, it was relatively calm. We accepted the quest to have a bunch of royals join us, and join us they did. They have been nothing but fussy, and I've been contemplating perhaps getting them hooked on hard drugs to counteract their moods, because that's what I do. I'm going to restrict Pho and Ario to indoors. I think at this point, it's safe to say that it's getting a little too hot. It's 56 Celsius or 133 Fahrenheit, as you can see in the top right, outside. And that's a little beyond their comfort, and I don't want to have them heat stroke out on me. Now, I have jokingly, but not so jokingly, said that it might be worth my while to force Ario, Pho, and Constans to take Yayo. So let me explain the reason for this. I know I'm supposed to be kind to my guests, but, well, that's not necessarily unkind. They are... I mean, granted, I don't have to live with the consequences, but they're my guests, and, well, they want to be happier, so why not use a little yayo, right? That stands to reason. Taking a look at my resources out here, we've got 2,400 steel. It's a pretty good amount of steel. I might still do more steel mining. Yeah, there we go. The break risks. Well, actually, that's for Bash. So that's not exactly fair to blame my guests on that. But, yeah, as you can see, they're departing on the shuttle in 13 days. And then, of course, my quest out here is 16 days. So I do have enough time after they depart on their shuttle to go and deal with the quest, the camp quest. So that's what I intend to do. I intend to just wait on the camp quest until it's time. All right, so Constance, what can I do for you? The high psychic drone is terrible. Yeah, okay. Let's get rid of that hunger. I wish there was something more I could do. You're already pushing the risk of psychite or alcohol addiction. Smoke leaf joint? There. Because the thing is, if their mood drops too far, what ends up happening is I fail the quest. Right? I get a big old F, and all the effort I put in so far is for naught. And I don't want to do that to myself. The gorillas are now going to be restricted. It's getting hot enough that even letting them roam about is going to be a bit of a problem. And I'm going to fire up the remaining AC that I have to help keep everything cool. I may have to be... Oh, all right. Let's roof off the ground penetrating scanner. These potatoes should be like baked potatoes by now, given the outdoor temperature. It's only 145 in here, but at peak summer, given the duration that my my food sits in the heat, even if it's 200-degree Fahrenheit heat, given enough time, that will bake, right? Ario here getting a little bit of heat stroke. Yeah, that's a pretty good indicator that they're not going to be able to go outside. Oh, yes, we should have removed the chimneys there. That's one of the reasons why we're struggling to keep this room cool. Let me check on the additional chimney. So we have the emergency freezer chimneys that are not removed, which are fine. That's fine not to have removed. But this chimney here needs to get tore up. As soon as this high psychic droner goes away, we're definitely going to have a recovery of our mood. It's just, the problem is the droner is really making it hard to keep everybody happy. All right, there we go. Now it should start cooling down again without the roof and the chimney. Because what was happening was all the heat was being pooled in this spot here, and then it would just inevitably bleed back. All right, the droner is now ended. And if we check their moods, yeah, they're climbing, obviously. Constance here doesn't seem to really understand that he can eat berries, but like I commonly find myself having to like instruct him to be like, yes, you may eat berries. Undergrounder outdoors. Yeah, okay, they're very, very happy now. It was really just the droner that was making it impossible. Raptor's going to crank out a whole bunch of medicine. So yeah, it's perhaps I don't even need the AO. But given that I only have 6 tea left, all of the tea that I'm growing from these 8 hydroponic basins can be put to good use for other purposes. You know, for the tea rather than the AO. So the quests I'm on, this of course, it's about a little over a third or so through, but in my experience, and I'm sure you all have probably experienced something pretty similar, the mech cluster quests, the mech clusters tend to arrive towards the end of the quest for whatever reason. So then the other question is, how long do I have this instant, okay, 24 days, perfect. This instant massive Manhunter pack of big things I can still call in. All right, restricted animal hauling is going to get a lot more restricted. I worry for Glitch and, you know, for their safety, for the temperature, and Maverick as well. Okay. So all they're going to be allowed to do is to shift items that are here in the base. Another thing I wanted to do is to keep mining steel, because no matter how much steel I have, as soon as my turrets have to spin up, I need more. That has been a recurring theme for sure. So let's grab it. Let's grab that steel. Speaking of which, I don't feel like it's a waste of steel to fill this in. I wouldn't really want a Manhunter or a infestation in this area, because it's, or in this area. So let's make the sort of monument building area a little infestation free. Oh, Constance. Huh. He's wearing gorilla wool cape. That'll keep you warm, but not cool. Anytime there's meteorites of stone, I queue them up to be immediately mined up, because that's not a resource I have access to commonly. Okay, we'll fill in all those gaps. For this cave up here, we are already sort of steering them this direction. So I think that's fine. Oh, another thing I wanted to do, and sorry, I forgot to write down who suggested it, was implement a few more mortars. Because really large mech clusters, one very handy way to counter them is to just mortar the heck out of them. And that's a very functional way to deal with it. Very resource intensive, but if we have no choice, we have no choice, right? In Frost and Fires, you probably have already noticed there are no sieges. It's not like we do get sieged. So we don't really need the mortars for sieges, but for your average mech cluster, yeah, they would be very, very handy. And happily, I will add them. Looks like there's a bit of a cave here. Probably doesn't lead to much. Although there is a steel wall there that I could break down. See what that leads to. All right, we have a lot of meds now. We are going through our entire sort of backlog of herbal, because the herbal was going to spoil, so makes sense to use it before we lose it. Although this herbal now is not at risk for spoiling. That didn't really lead to much other than some tiles. Oh, these lights are off. Yes, so there's a cut in the cabling. Let's get that replaced. Even Phoenix is risking heat stroke now. So as far as shells go, we're gonna do HE, and EMP. It's a pretty good combination. Another thing that I would suggest is that you hold fire, but load them up so that they're ready to go. That way, if there's an emergency situation where we have to mortar quickly, the mortar's already primed and loaded. All right, so they're now all loaded up. So that at a moment's notice we can let loose our mortar. So 58% mood for all three of them over the past 2 days. I feel like their moods are only going up because I've been babying them and letting them kind of do whatever they want. Like you do. And with any luck, they will be appreciative, and I will gain rep, and then I will also earn that wonderful Persona blade and the plasteel. All right, JD, you're a little heat stroked, so let's get you on back. They are chewing through my drugs here. Oh, you know, that's a smoke leaf, not psychic. Okay. Okay. For a second, I thought he was eating the nutrient paste. He's just setting it up in the stockpile. Okay, I'm gonna remove the roof over the extra coolers, just in case. Let's take a quick stock of our temperature. Yep, we seem to be fine. Most of the ash is settled. So we had a volcanic winter going on, which of course, limits the amount of solar possibility. But as a result, it also lowers the temperature. So tomorrow it's going to be probably a little bit warmer than it was, like a bit more of a jump. Now that we don't have the volcanic winter counteracting. Gotta say, I do have a legendarily gross kill box. This is just, it's epic in maybe not a good way. you know? But it's what keeps us safe. So let's not insult it too bad. Now, letting my guests here eat the fine meals, it's also going to diminish my meat supply. And we are very, very low on tea here. So we're about to hit a bit of a wall with mood, I think. Because my guests have, well, they've done all the drugs. They've done all the drugs. And despite the fact that I did crank myself to do more drug manufacturing, I'm a little worried about there being a lack of drugs for a small period of time, but a period of time long enough to make everyone pissed. Another piece of equipment that I was thinking about using. So if you take a look at the Phoenix armor here, the Phoenix armor has incredible heat insulation. And of course, it's cataphract armor, so it does slow you down considerably. But that would be a really good piece of armor for combat in the summers. Whereas there's not really a way to stay insulated from the cold in the winters, other than wearing the parkas. So the idea that I had was to spin up the reactor heading into summer so that we can wear Phoenix armor. So that not only are we protected from the temperature, we're also just generally well protected. So that is something I'm going to employ now, is JD making us Phoenix armor. But it's telling me that I need materials. So let's take a look at that again. We don't have enough uranium. Yep, it's got to be uranium. Always. No, actually, we do have the uranium. What are we missing? Chem Fuel? Yeah, I think we're missing the Chem Fuel. That was another piece of feedback that I received, which was more or less, maybe it would make sense to have the fowl meat that I butchered be processed into Chem Fuel, which normally I would agree with you. That is a very, very fine idea. However, it takes a while to make Chem Fuel, right? It doesn't happen instantly. And as a net result of that, a lot of the fowl meat might have spoiled if I tried to turn a lot of it into Chem Fuel. Now that I don't have enough Chem Fuel, I do feel a little bit at a loss, because I'm trying to think of what I make into Chem Fuel. Come on, guys. Tables. All the war crimes that I'm being told I'm committing as a result of my guys not eating meals on tables are not my fault. So I moved some more veg into the stockpiles up here because there was a lot of berries. Oh, don't make those. Oh, come on. There was a lot of berries that weren't in the freezer. Okay, we're nearly at the halfway point. Sometimes the mech clusters will arrive at halfway. Sometimes they just arrive stacked up at the end. Either way, there's not much I can do to affect the arrival time, so we just wait it out. So for Chem Fuel, I might be able to process actually some of the lumber that I have, some of the wood. I haven't checked in a while if there's any sessile mechanoid trees that are out here that are worth harvesting. Probably not, because there's such a short growing season that I can't imagine there's like trees beyond, I don't know, 10% or so. No, there really isn't. But we do have a large stockpile of wood as a result of buying it, so... we'll start processing our wood into Chem Fuel. Weather controller for pay. A yeoman of the United Cities traveling near landfall, being followed by skeletons. She wants to draw them here. There's a weather controller machine that will make everything a rainy thunderstorm. Yeah, I'll take some rainy thunderstorm. That actually doesn't sound bad to me. And I'll take the honor. A rainy thunderstorm is going to wash away all of the blood here, which is kind of nice. It is most certainly a net positive. All right, you're getting too hot. So there goes all the insect blood. And the regular blood too. We're gonna have one heck of a clean base in a minute. That's kind of why I was excited. Because it almost never rains on this planet. It's a mechanoid planet with very, very, very low rain chance. So it's kind of nice when it does. A masterwork heavy machine gun here. Well, a heavy small machine gun, SMG. An engraving of this weapon shows the minor celebrity Matt Vey. Moving to the right, the work is shaded in hues of orange and green. Strikingly, at the edge of the image are 6 giraffes. Okay, yeah, that would be pretty striking. Because it's masterwork, it's going to be doing bonus damage, so that would be a good weapon for, like, sort of close quarters. And one I might want to use. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. So as the result of cleaning up all the blood out here, another thing I might be able to do is clean up some of the debris. And actually add my entire sort of kill box and surrounding areas to the home zone. So that we clean it up and... and make it look nice, so that sometime in the near future we can ruin it again. To be fair, it's not me that is ruining it. It is the enemies that come into it and do damage. But another thing that that has been happening is, well, stuff keeps getting hit. Lightning strike. Over and over and over. That's kind of funny. Just continual lightning strikes. So another thing that's going to happen with the forced weather here, rain here also reduces movement speed and shooting accuracy. So it's going to make it a little bit harder for me to outrun whatever it is that I need to outrun. And that's something worth noting, is that the weather does work against me in some instances. Making sure that there's nothing I need to add to the home zone. I'm going to add some of these tunnels back. I don't really want to clear the filth from these tunnels, but as we walk through them, that is, but getting them a nice once-over repair is kind of nice. And then I'm also going to add the cabling to the home zone and this monument. I probably don't need to add the inside of the monument, so let me start tracing the walls. But so that if this gets struck by lightning, I'm warned so that I can fight the fires. And the lightning itself will put out the fires pretty quickly. But if this takes enough critical damage, I'm penalized with a bunch of beak things, and I want those beak things to arrive when I want them to arrive, you know, and not before, not early. Yeah, there we go. There's a lightning strike on it. Man, a lot of these zones needed updating. I don't like Auto Home Zone because Auto Home Zone adds a lot of extra that I don't care to add. You know, it gives you a nice big wide buffer. But I don't want that wide buffer in most cases because, especially when you are building and there's like a lot of nature to clean up, I don't want to be sweeping dirt. All right, so now we're in the 3,000-ish range for steel. We've exhausted the metal in that node. There's this node here, but I'm not going to take the shortcut and dig through. And this must be the Phoenix armor. Yes, yes, indeed it is. You can barely hear the game's music over the thunderstorm. And the weather controller is very, very close. That would be walkable if we didn't have the looming specter of mech cluster death on the horizon. My guys here very much not liking life right now. Let's see how we're doing on berries. So on berries we're pretty good. On fine meals we're fine. Lots of nutrient paste up there. Got about 370 of it, I think. Checking the stockpile. I have a good amount of spare clothing, which is good. Great, in fact. Hippie, how about you finish that art? All right, you want to do that? Gabe, you better get inside. Now, if you take a look at the quest again, 68 average mood, and I benefit if they're over 50. So I have to keep them over 35 or I fail. But at almost 70%, they're doing quite nice. And what I could do is the last 2 days of their stay here, I can maybe have them take yayo. You know, just to kick up my my evaluation. Where'd that Phoenix armor go? Alright, so on this shelf with the Phoenix armor, I'm going to put unfinished items. So we don't haul them all the way back to the stockpile. So there's our small sculpture made out of steel. I'm trying to make Leth and Gabe's temporary bedroom a little bit nicer because they get a lot of disturbed sleep. But considering they're the only couple, they naturally stay a lot happier than most. So one of the problems here is we're replacing all the materials that went into the Phoenix armor before doing the Phoenix armor, which is, it's nice, but maybe not all that necessary. A concert. Raptor's putting on a concert. All right, before he puts on the concert, I'm going to have him switch helmets. Right after this concert, I can also give a throne speech. 2. So attending a concert is definitely going to help the moods here, providing it's not a terrible one. But perhaps I wait for the throne speech and gamble a little bit and do the... Oh, here's one of the mech clusters. Do the throne speech right at the end of their stay, so that if it's a positive throne speech, it helps with moods. I think that's probably the route I'm going to take. Okay, where is this cluster landing? Right here. Looks pretty beefy. A climate adjuster that makes it colder. Oh, how sweet. This cluster, I don't need to mess with at all. There is no mortars, no drunners. There's really nothing that makes this urgent. So I'm just going to avoid it. Just completely stay away from it. I hope that the lightning doesn't strike it. And let it be waiting for the other cluster. And I'm gonna just assume, given the quantity of centipedes, that this is the ×2 mech cluster that comes with the quest. So I'm gonna invert the avoid zone, and then everybody that was on unscheduled goes to avoid now. We're just going to stay away from that. And of course, my animals here are not even allowed to get out of the base currently, so that's no issue. Oh, speaking of animals. I guess JD didn't like... Oh, well, there was a fire. Concert has concluded. Let's take a look. Attended concert, +8. Last 10 days. Awesome. And 10 days is within their shuttle arrival time. So that's very, 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 very good. That we'll have the benefit of a concert, you know, in the duration of time where they will leave. So that will work towards my my positive evaluation. I really, really am happy about that. Thank you, Raptor. That makes up for some terrible speeches that you gave. Maybe not fully, but at least partially. All right, here's a ton of smoke leaf that we will be able to... All right, Hippie's already doing it. Of course, leave it to Hippie to do it, right? And then everybody else is just hauling the steel. Because even though I have thousands of steel, as I keep saying, it's simply not enough. We're always going to need more. All right, so let's assess this. What do we got here? We got 6 mini sluggers, which are really not that serious. We have 11 scythers, which are pretty scary when considering the amount of damage they could do here. Oh, also, these sesoi mechanoid trees really do need to get cut down. They offer cover. Not that mechanoids are programmed that they don't go for cover, but Reapers would. We have 2 turrets, 1 of each type, 1 flame, 1 charge, and then a countdown activator, which will activate this cluster, 2 mech drop beacons, which will bring in, or 3 mech drop beacons, 4 mech drop, oh boy. So this cluster here is a ton of mechs. Part of me wants to trigger the Manhunter pack and get them to duke it out now. So I will at least explain what I would consider the risk versus reward. The risk here, if I don't trigger the Manhunter pack soon, would be that if we get 2 mech clusters of this, you know, that the Manhunter pack is unable to deal with both of them, right? I don't want 2 full mech clusters coming at me at the same time. That would be really, really, really difficult to deal with. So it's best if I take out the mech clusters piecemeal. I think what I'm going to do is wait until peak summer is over, meaning that I'm probably not going to wake them up this episode, because it is a little bit too hot right now to mess with this mech cluster, because if I'm standing outside for too long, I get heat stroke. Even if I switched, well, if I switched to my cowboy hats, I would be a little bit better protected from heat stroke, but I would have virtually no protection if I got shot in the face. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until a little bit later in the summer. I think what's going to happen is the last mech cluster is going to arrive way late. Oh, of course. Phoenix going on a smoke leaf binge. All right, let's see here. Smoke leaf joints. There. All the smoke leaf is loaded into the pods. He can't binge. And I froze the smoke leaf joint rolling, so that too will not be an issue. And we're pretty soon going to have more... Here, let's replant Psychoid. We're pretty soon going to have more Psychoid for T, which will help even out moods. Whoa, that was close. An Imperial Trader. All right. See what they got. I have Bash here, like, please remove the roof. He's like, nope, beer, only beer. Oh, Raptor, yes, you should switch your helmet out as well. The crown doesn't help with negotiations, so it doesn't really matter if I'm wearing the crown for trades. Specialized limbs, drill arm, field hand, power claw. I can sell the coronet and make a new one, sure. That's about it. I don't really see anything that calls to me. So let's make another coronet. I'll craft that out specifically now. Oh, not out of silver. Did I really select silver? Oh, dear Lord, I did. There. Somehow or another, it was not. It doesn't immediately itemify like some of the other items, like the Phoenix armor. So as a result, I didn't use any of the silver, which is nice. That would have hurt my feelings a little bit. Would have been my fault, but I would have felt bad. Ooh, 183. Yeah, we're definitely gonna wait a bit. All right, so there's the coronet, and where'd you put it? Oh, there it is. Right, social impact is the same. And now, with the harvest of the cycloid leaves, we will have some tea to help temper the foul moods. Except for it's gone, because these guys are absolute piglets. But they're well cared for, piglets. Their average mood is 69%. Bashir getting very tired of this lightning. It is constantly hitting my buildings. And as a result, I'm needing to do a lot of repair. All right, I think at this point, we have a lot of berries. So I think what I'm going to do here, where we were previously growing berries, is this is all going to be cycloid. We are at a huge cycloid disadvantage at the moment, where we want more tea, but we don't have it. So let's just plant a ton. Now, it is past midsummer, so it should start to cool down. It should be getting cooler now. And that will allow me to perhaps... my idea for this mech cluster, of course, is to use sniper rifles. And snipe the dangerous mechs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 shooters, 6 sniper rifles. That'll work. This turret, I've seen them repair that turret like 5 times now. It seems to be somewhat of a lightning rod, I guess. Well, let's keep mining steel. Never can have too much, I guess. And there is Phoenix armor completed right as a combat supplier comes. I'm curious what the Phoenix armor would fetch. I don't intend to sell it, but it's excellent quality Phoenix armor. So it has a sharp of 149. Compare that to the sharp that we have, 130 plus 5. As you can see, it is definitely more coverage. It's actually not quite as amazing as... Well, I mean, it's ridiculously good, but it does slow you down a lot. The disadvantage, of course, of this is that you can't move very fast at it. So there is no running away from anything when you're wearing that. Okay, emotionless rock lubricants. That is a very strange name for a combat supplier. The Phoenix armor I could sell for 2K. Wow, that's a hefty price. That's nice. I don't plan on selling it, but it is nice. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing I'd want to trade with them, so. Another thing I might want to do is to make like 2 more flak vests. Just because we've been using the flak vest this whole time, and if we take a look at, do a quick stock, Raptor doesn't use them, but 70%, 60, 60, 56, 62, 76. Yeah, we're gonna want a few flak vests. I'm gonna say at least 4, because pretty soon we're gonna be without. JD is making... Oh, yeah. We only need 1 shell. What are you making there? Oh, the incendiaries. I see. I probably could stop the incendiary shells. Let's just do till 10. Phoenix is no longer psychotic, or, you know, smoke leaf binging, I should say. So let's have him haul the smoke leaf back to where it belongs, so that we can use it when we need it. And our beer and tea has been somewhat resupplied, but we're definitely going to want to get more fermenting and get more prepping. That about wraps up this entire episode. It has been, other than the arrival of the mech cluster, more or less peaceful. Next episode, you can almost assuredly count on me triggering this mech cluster. Actually, it's going to wake up on their own in 4 days. But I wanted to wait towards the end of the summer because it is simply too hot to fight out here. If you have any other feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.